One of the biggest questions about the MCU Spider-Man 4 is who is going to be the villain slash villains, because there's probably going to be more than one. Because we know, Kevin Feige has confirmed Spider-Man 4, it's happening. Tom Holland is signed on for a new deal. He's come back. We're doing the college trilogy with this MCU Peter Parker Spider-Man, which I don't think anybody has ever been more excited for a Spider-Man movie than they are now, because after that ending of No Way Home, it just so perfectly sets up this Spider-Man on such an interesting trajectory to take this character, because now he really officially is Spider-Man, and we're done with the multiverse. We're done with the Iron Man Jr., Iron Boy Jr., whatever you want to call it. He is now just the Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Peter Parker is no more, and I'm so excited for this. But of course, for me, one of the most important questions is who will be the villain, because that's one of the things I find most interesting, one of the parts I love the most about these movies, and one of the things I've found actually the strongest out of the whole Tom Holland first trilogy. Michael Keaton was great as Vulture, Jake Gyllenhaal was great as Mysterio, and the No Way Home, I mean, you got 5 different villains in there. Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, amazing. So where are we gonna go from here? This time we're not bringing back any old villains. We're doing some new villains, hopefully, for this college trilogy. And, obviously there's been multiple rumors, there's theories, all that stuff. But today we have a brand new report from Scooper Alex Perez, who's been very accurate in the past and has teased us with 4 villains that will reportedly have at least some form of involvement in this movie. So here we have the 4 right here. Now, I'm assuming that maybe you'll have like 1 or 2 as like the main villains, and the other 2 will be like maybe side villains or somebody that's being set up for a bigger role later on down the line. But as you can see here, we got our 4 villains. So we got Scorpion, makes sense. Kingpin, makes sense. Mr. Negative, a bit of a surprise, but still kind of makes sense. Kraven the Hunter, I like the idea, I just don't know how it makes sense. But we're going to talk about it. So let's start off with the obvious ones. Obviously, Matt Gargan, played by Michael Mandel, was introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming, back with the first Tom Holland Peter Parker MCU Spider-Man movie. So that's great that we'll be bringing back that character. That was the one that we kind of, like I said, we kind of assumed this would be the case, and this is the perfect time to bring him back, have him finally fully transform into the Scorpion. That would be great to see. Now, will he be the main villain of this movie? I don't know. I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Is Scorpion a character that could really handle that main villain title? Usually you would think no, but given this character's position in the MCU, it's possible. I've seen some theories as to how that could work, but I still kind of doubt like he'll be the main villain. But especially since we have J. Jonah Jameson in here, he could be the one that maybe even makes him become the Scorpion, just as he did in the comics, or we could have a connection to the Kingpin, because the Kingpin is the character that just makes so much sense to have involvement in this, and the one that I am probably, out of all 4 of these villains, the one I'm most excited to see, because I grew up watching the 90s Spider-Man the Animated Series, where Kingpin is basically the main villain of that show. He is the one that assembles the Sinister Six. He is the one that sends all these villains out there to fight Spider-Man, and it's just like the coolest thing ever. And obviously Kingpin is now more known as a Daredevil villain. We know that Vincent D'Onofrio came back in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series and is going to be returning in the Echo Disney Plus series alongside Daredevil Born Again as well. So I'm really excited for all of that, but I really want to see Kingpin versus Spider-Man in the MCU, because this would just be so cool to see. And actually, literally just yesterday, it was I don't remember what it was. It was like WonderCon or GalaxyCon. One of the cons Vincent D'Onofrio was at, and he was asked about possibly, being in the future of Spider-Man in the MCU, and he said literally, at some point, inevitably, I will kick Spider-Man's butt. And that is something I so want to see, because he is such a cool character. I mean, also, you go back to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He was such a big presence in that film. He was a great villain. So to have Kingpin versus Spider-Man would be awesome. But he is not at all. I have no doubts that he will not be the main villain of this movie. Not even close. He will be either a character that is just behind the scenes, and he's the one that's kind of funding everything going on here. Of course, after No Way Home came out, I did do a theory video of mine pitching my ideas for this college trilogy. My idea was, just like in the 90s cartoon, Kingpin could be the one to fund and set up the Sinister Six. So that will be something cool to see if we finally do get the Sinister Six in this second trilogy, the MCU, bring in Kingpin, have him be the one pulling the strings behind all of it. I think that would just be a really cool way of going about doing that. So it could be like maybe in this movie, like I said, he could be the one that supplies Scorpion with his suit. He could be the one that is setting up all these villains with all this tech and all this equipment, or he could maybe even just be somebody that appears in the post-credit scene to set up for that some of that stuff in the future. And this could also possibly even tie into Daredevil, because again, Daredevil, Spider-Man, they also have a big connection. Daredevil, Charlie Cox made his big grand MCU return in Spider-Man No Way Home. So with this being a more grounded MCU Spider-Man movie, this may be the perfect time to finally actually do that Daredevil Spider-Man team up, especially if you have the Kingpin involved here in some shape or form. But speaking of grounded, we also have Mr. Negative, which, as I mentioned before, is a bit of a surprise, but it makes sense because if we're going to be doing more grounded stuff, more friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and do some more like gang war stuff like would be going on with Kingpin, I think it would be great to bring in a character like Mr. Negative, maybe even a character like Hammerhead as well. I think would be perfect for this. But Mr. Negative is a really cool villain, and I mean, for all I know, maybe he could even be the main villain in this movie. That's totally possible because, of course, he was one of the main villains of the Spider-Man PS4 video game. So that would be really cool to do something similar to that. Or he could, again, just be a low life level crime villain that's just causing some trouble for Spider-Man. And I think, originally, I would have cast Stephen Yeun in the role. I think he would have been perfect as Mr. Negative, but now, of course, he's going to be cast, or at least has supposedly been cast as the main villain of the Thunderbolts movie, so he's already going to be in the MCU as a different character. So if you have any casting ideas on Mr. Negative, let me know in the comments below. Martin Lee. So anyways, guys, we also have then this fourth one, which, like I said, Kraven is the one that He's one of the Spider-Man villains I most want to see fight Tom Holland Spider-Man, but at this point in time, it's just so confusing as to how it would work, because next year, we are getting a live-action Kraven the Hunter movie starring Aaron Taylor Johnson as a part of the Sony universe. So this brings up the question, first of all, is that movie going to be good or not? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But if we do get Kraven the Hunter in this Spider-Man 4 movie, will it be the same Kraven the Hunter? And would it be from the same universe, or would it be a different Kraven for the MCU? And would they both be played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, or would it be played by a different actor? Like, could we get maybe a Joe Manganiello in here? I remember originally there were casting rumors for the Kraven the Hunter movie, and they were looking for a Joel Kinnaman type. Maybe get Joel Kinnaman in here. Maybe Jason Momoa. I think that would be pretty awesome, especially because, his future at DC is like maybe a little bit uncertain. The Aquaman future thing, people are saying that Aquaman 2 is not so great, but he might be coming in as Lobo, or bring him in as Kraven the Hunter for the MCU Spider-Man. I think that would be awesome as well. Fan cast right there. Dream fan cast is Jason Momoa as Kraven the Hunter. But yeah, just having Kraven involved here, he, out of all four of these villains, I think has the most potential to be the main villain of this. But then again, why would you do Kraven as the main villain of this next Spider-Man movie if you just did a Kraven solo movie just the year prior to this? Or, depending on when they get going on shooting this film, months ahead, because rumors are the Spider-Man movie is coming out at some point next year. So I think Kraven would be really cool. I'm a little confused as to how that would work and how they would fit that in and what actor would be playing him. But if they can explain it and figure all that out, I'm down for it, because originally, the original rumors were that we were going to get Kraven the Hunter in the third Spider-Man movie, which ended up being No Way Home, and I'm glad that went the way it did. But, originally we were supposed to get Kraven in the first MCU Spider-Man trilogy, and that didn't end up happening, so now we could bring him in for Spider-Man 4, if they can make that work. But anyways, guys, I am so excited for Marvel Studios' Spider-Man 4. Also, if you have any ideas for what the title of this movie may be, I feel like they're probably going to move away from the home being a part of the whole name title for the franchise. But I'm just really excited for this. I'm really excited for whatever villains we may get, and if we do get some sort of Sinister Six that is being built up here over these next few movies, bring back some villains from the first couple. Maybe bring back Vulture, maybe bring back Mysterio because he's totally not dead. Maybe bring back Shocker, and then now you got Scorpion. You got maybe a Mr. Negative, maybe a Kraven the Hunter, and Kingpin could possibly be the one that is funding it and pulling the strings behind the scenes and bringing us the Sinister Six to the MCU. Which actually, speaking of that, I did do just a video like last month or the month before about rumors that these Sinister Six were coming to the MCU Spider-Man college trilogy. So anyways, guys, check that out if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I keep it to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.